Yeah, I'm done stacking hay in here. That's all I'm gonna get in here. Yeah, I can get more, depending on how much room I want. If I had a place to put this thing, maybe, whatever. It's how fast I move some of these bales out, because now I got most of my bedding hay blocked off. But I did have one bale collapse over. It's always hard to stack a single row like this. That's why I actually straddle. You can see that upper bale's back a little bit further. I always start, put 2 rows down, then put 1 bale across, and then that ties them together, keeps them from falling over. So having this single row here, it's kind of hard to do that. But what's down this row and all in this here, I end up with 13 rows like I had started at the back there all the way across with 6, 5, 15 bales in them. These last 2 rows ended up with 4, 3, 9 bales in them. Because since this is sticking out here a couple rows, I had to put a couple rows this other way to get them all in, get more in here. But my final count is 254 bale in here of the good hay. Now, if I didn't stack that bedding hay along that wall and ended up with the same count I have in this row, there's 31 bales in this outside row. So I could have got 285. And then again, it's not that hard to get another 15 bales in here. Like I said, if I didn't have all this in here, yeah, I'd probably be up around the 320, 330 bale range. Well, yeah, because that's basically what's all in here now with the bedding hay and everything. So again, like I said, if I came out here, I could get 1, 2, 3, 4, probably at least 5 more rows. If I got 5 more rows like I started with, 5 times 15, that'd be another 75 bale in here. So I can get upwards of 400 bale in here. But that's going to be it for now, because like I said, I need a place to keep that parked. This gives me a place if I need to park a tractor in here, park the skid steer in here or something. Yeah, thinking about selling that TMR mixer. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever use the damn thing again. Even if I do chop silage, I'm not actually going to mix a batch of feed for them. You know, I can go get it with the skid steer bucket and dump the bucket on the alley, feed them that way. I'm not going to piss around getting our tractor started and all that in the winter. I don't need to mix grain with their silage to feed heifers or beef cows, whatever I do with them. So under cover right now, I got another 72 bales under cover, so that gives me about 330 good bales of hay under hay that's never been rained on, been stacked without being rained on. And I'm gonna do some looking. Like I said, I'd like to get as much under cover as I can. I got another option without having to buy new tarps. I can use these old tarps I got. I got to figure out something just first, because I did this one other time and it should work perfect, but it didn't. So I just need to figure out how to fasten it a little bit better. And like I said, I can use some of these old tarps again. I could maybe get, I'd be able to get another 120 some bales underneath tarps. So that's if I got enough tarps that are good enough. I mean, some of them are ripped up pretty damn bad. So, but I guess I gotta go get some hay to feed these animals. These are outside. They're happy enough out there, but pasture is pretty well clipped off. Ain't a whole hell of a lot out there. Like I say, it's just been dry for one thing. We've had decent rains. We had 2 inches of rain here, almost a week ago now. We got a chance of rain for next day, so might get a little bit, but I don't think we're gonna get a whole hell of a lot. So I'll get a bale of hay for them, and I can open up the gates so they can come back in when they're ready, and it'll be good for the night. So we'll catch up with you with something else with this clip, or this clip on something else. I don't know. I just keep making them, keep piecing them together, and keep posting them. So it is what it is. And on my travels today, I decided to stop and get some of these. Oh, come on. They ain't as good as they used to be. I remember my dad going out picking them, and they'd be 6, 7 times the size of these. And he'd come home with a half-pecked basket full of them. My mom would make jelly out of them. It was called cordial. Some kind of syrupy, I think it was Purpose at the time, was like a cough syrup or sore throat medicine type thing. Well, that's been one of the benefits of working out here in the country. I've been watching around the hayfields this year. Usually I find a cluster somewhere that I can stop and pick a few. And this year I haven't really seen them. Well, if I see them, they're like this. BBs, basically. I mean, they should be as big as the tip of my pinky. I don't know what's changed over the years or what the exact reason is. I mean, they used to grow wild way bigger than this. And quite a few over there. I had some red raspberries earlier a couple weeks ago. Now these might be small because they're so damn loaded. Like I say, I ain't getting all scratched up on them. Oh, there's some nice ones up there. A little bit further in, and I'm going to go for them. Yeah, my dad used to go out for mushrooms all the time too. Well, maybe they're still out there. Nobody around here. It was my dad and my great uncle, the ones always hunting mushrooms. Funny thing is, my dad didn't want a thing to do with them. He wouldn't eat them no how. So he'd pick all he could get and give them to my uncle. Like I said, they might be out there, just I don't go out for them either. I ain't 100% sure what ones I should be picking. They used to call them stumpies, little white ones. There ain't nothing over in here. Watch where I walk. Eh? Walking in something off-centered or offset, I never can find them. Not off-centered, but if I step and I'm not expecting how low I'm stepping down, if I think I'm going to step here, and I'm actually going to step over here, which is 2 inches lower, it just sends that shock wave up my thigh and into my hip. So I gotta watch. Well, I guess there's no more in there. Yeah, maybe. And I say, between the Molliflower rose bushes and the blackberry bushes, I'm not getting scratched up for them. They ain't here yet either. Like I say, if they were the nice big ones, I might. Yeah, come up here in 2 or 3 days, there'll be a few more ripe ones. There's a place not too far from here, has a bunch of greenhouse type setups. And they got blackberries and raspberries. But they're probably got the varieties that grow good. They got the varieties, or fertilizing them to what they need to be, and the pH what they need to be. This is just old pasture here. Edge of the pasture. At least one thing, our township doesn't use salt. They used to use salt brine when this was a dirt road and they'd grade it. They'd put the calcium chloride on. Mostly what they would use the wastewater from these gas wells. So I think that maybe, but it's been 20 years. They started tarring and chipping this road before they actually blacktopped it. So been 20 years since they've done anything like that, but who knows how long that stuff carries on for the amount they put on, if it did reach that. So maybe that's what the effect is. Of course, they'll never bother these rose bushes. So I'm trying to get this ready. I want to start take care of a few of these maybe. I have to get the name from the neighbor again. He told me the other day he just sprayed some somewhere and he says it knocks the shit out of these rose bushes. Roundup doesn't do a whole hell of a lot anymore. Of course, I might on these because I haven't sprayed many bushes, so these probably haven't built up a resistance to it. I have to look, maybe mix some 2,4-D or something with it. I mean, there's several products. I think one was called Crossbow or something. There was a pellet at one time. I don't know if it was still on the market or if it was ever effective. They had a pellet that you scattered out, threw into the bush, into the root zone. And that was supposed to kill them off. I guess they're not making this far. It never did happen. There was supposed to be some aphid. I heard this like 8-10 years ago. And it was down in Pittsburgh and it was working its way north. And it killed these things. The rose bushes. All rose bushes. And if they got affected by them, there's no stopping it. One way to tell that they were affected, that they grew odd curls to them, but they would be overly leafy and overly thorny. And within a year or two, they'd be dead. Well, ever seen any of that? Of course, the government will never do anything about it. This is all their project. Probably went back in the 40s, 50s. It's supposed to be nature's hedgerow. You're supposed to be able to plant that instead of putting barbed wire fences up. Cattle won't go through it, they say. They do avoid it. But the birds spread the seeds and now you got them all over the frickin' place. But they'll deny that too, probably. Well, I'm going to go on to my next project since I got all the blackberries I could get. So we'll see what happens next. See if he's still here. There he is. Well, you didn't have to run off. I wasn't going to bother you. I just barely seen him when I drove by. I mean, much closer, I probably might have ran over him. I mean, he was there and I'm driving here, but see him pop up. I didn't know if he could get up or not. And that's where they gotta lay now, let the haze off. And that's what I'm doing here right now. Trying to get the last of the hay picked up. I should have done a week and a half ago, but these two bales here, the ones that's a little iffy whether they're, well, that one's misshaped. That one might be a little bit too green. It was the end of the field, so should have taken them up to feed them, but I think they're all right. And I don't think I'm gonna have enough room to get these bales on, so I'm just gonna stack them off to the side there. In case any of this makes second crop. Yeah, like I say, wasn't a priority as much, so I didn't worry about picking this up. I had nowhere to stack it. Where I'm going to unload this at, I had to clean out that area, so, and I had some other things going on, so this just kind of got pushed off. But we got rain coming this week, so I want to get this done. So I spent yesterday doing it. I went down to my cousin's. A bunch of old bales of hay sitting in the fields. Some of them bales, so I ran the disc bind into 2 of them. And it just got to the point, you weren't seeing them. I'm tired of going around them. It's finally drying up in there. Took the skid steer down there. Got them all moved out. Got some tree limbs moved around that were in my road. So I figured, well, I'll get this done today. Basically, I got 3 more bales here, and then I can get 2 more. Got a couple scattered down in that pieces yet. And I'll get them, what I can, on the wagon loaded up. I mean, it's going to be all the way down there, all the way back, but for 2 bales, I ain't going to worry about it. And then I can't get them all on the wagon that I got down here, so the last 5 or 6 are going to get stacked in a row, clear down there at the bottom of the hill. And then, like I say, later on, when I start, if I get a chance and bored, once I get some more hay cut here, I can load them up, take them up, feed them, whatever. Or I can come back, or I'm driving through with the skid steer, the tractor, and the spear, pick a bale up as I need it to feed them out. Because that's all these bales are going to be doing, feeding over the summer until stuff gets frozen, that I can't unwrap them in the barn. But yeah, it's just, right now, it's just piddly-ass jobs. We'll get that done. And I say this is 2 weeks, yeah, at least 2 weeks ago I mowed it. I just posted a video of baling it, so when was that? It's July 6th, July 8th, maybe 3 weeks ago. But this is the last hay I baled. The first cutting, this is the last first cutting that I'm done. And I've mowed another 30 acres. I'm just letting it lay. I got on the neighbors, didn't look, half of it didn't look bad this spring, but the weeds came into it. And like I've said probably before here in another video, if I needed the hay, it would be good enough hay to bale up the feed. But if I end up getting rid of the rest of the animals, or if I don't sell the hay that I got that I figured I could sell, I don't need to be baling that. And again, why should I bale up shit hay or shittier hay to feed my animals? I mean, it's good heifer feed, good beef cattle feed, but why shouldn't I feed the better hay to my animals if I'm going to have it? So that's why I said, hell, it's that much more diesel fuel I'll be spending, wasting, you know, that much more time, you know, there'd be another 50, 60, 70 bales down to my cousin's. It's a half-hour round trip down there plus load time. I don't have places to stack it, so why monkey with it, really? It's going to do me more good to mow it, let it go back on the ground, and let it deteriorate and go back into the ground. If anything, I want to see it green up down there, you know, get about like this, get above what I mowed, and I might even do this here yet. Can't see it from here, but I mean, you get the weeds coming in here. Maybe I'll come in here and start spraying some of these fields, see if I can clean them up a little bit. And if not, like I say, some of that down to my cousin's is going to get plowed up maybe yet this fall. Plow it up and let it lay. So maybe I can do something to the corn here next fall, or next spring. Be a little more ahead of the curve on it, if it's worth doing. But I guess, get this done. I didn't check my fuel before I left, and I'm blinking up there. Blinking 2 bars, so I should have enough. But not, I might run out of fuel on my way home going up the hill. Who knows? Won't be the first time. The problem is, if I run out of fuel going uphill, I'm screwed because this skid steer has no brakes. My emergency brake don't work, and it'll move on its own. So, but I'm gonna jockey around. It's starting to look like it might rain here yet tonight. Clouding up, but I think I get these loaded up, get it done, and then see what else there is to do.